Hey guys, what's going on? It's time for the 30 books in 30 weeks, and we are 2/3 of the way through week 14, which means we're almost halfway done with the whole 30 weeks. I cannot believe it has been over 100 days, over 100 videos, and think this started last year, so it started last year in November. Oh my God, like you had another 60 days. This is just amazing to me. I love social media. I love Facebook. Anyway, so 30 books in 30 weeks. As you guys come in tonight, we're talking about, I'm going to read an excerpt for you from Love Miscarriage, which is the book that I released last year. And I'm going to read a letter that Jenna wrote, sort of to all broken men, broken boys masquerading as real men is how it's referred. But so it's gonna be a good one. It's a doozy. I shared this at my book release party with my friend Christian, who did a magnificent rebuttal from a male perspective, which was ever endearing and oh so eye-opening, and I appreciate him tremendously for sharing that at the book release party. So I'm going to share that with you guys tonight, so feel free to share this video out, invite some folks to join in. If you catch it on the replay, thank you so much for making that investment as well. For those of you who might be popping in for the first time and don't know who I am, my name's Marcy Batiste. I am a speaker and author and a reality-based success and recovery trainer. They say I'm known for a couple things. Number one, sold out to my happiness. That's my guiding light. Number two, I live life on Mars, meaning I operate sort of in a space where it's my world, my life, my rules. Minding my own business for the most part. And the third thing is that I love more than anything to help other women shine. I like to help them discover and embrace what I call their star power. And that's 10 pillars that I developed a number of years ago that I have used to navigate my own healing and recovery journey, my own success journey, my journey to entrepreneurship. So these pillars are all encompassing, and every woman already possesses them. They just have to discover them. And then once they've discovered and fully embraced them, they're able to then become the light for someone else, igniting the light for the star power of another woman. So that being said, this evening I want to share with you from the book Love Miscarriage, which is our featured book this week. And it's a book that Jenna is writing to Tony primarily, but in general because she's been hurt a number of times. And the heartbreak from Tony Leo was just kind of the straw that sort of broke the camel's back for her. She had so much wrapped up in what that relationship was going to look like, and all the hopes and the dreams, and this whirlwind romance. And then when that was gone and he walked out without saying goodbye or anything, no explanation, she was left devastated. And this is really excerpts from her journal where she shares her innermost feelings about the experience, about Tony, about dating, about relationships, so forth and so on. And so I'm just going to read for you this evening directly from the book. It says, "Dear broken boys masquerading as real men, I say the following with the maximum amount of empathy that I can muster in this moment. The most basic definition of a man is simply an adult male. I'll give you that simply for the fact that you have aged out of being referred to as a boy. Age, however, does not represent the maturity nor the responsibility levels that are required to graduate. You see, those things along with honor and respect are traits of a real man. I would encourage all of the broken boys to address your demons before you begin to seek out companionship, intimacy, respect, and loyalty from an unsuspecting woman who wants nothing more from you than an opportunity to give and receive love. I encourage you to heal your open wounds before you infuse your brokenness onto someone else. I ask above all else that you address your warped imagery of what you think you deserve and how you think a woman should treat you. Take off your rose-colored glasses before you go chasing after a heart you are ill-equipped or lacking in the desire to protect. I blatantly request that you sit your ass down and get your life together. To all of the broken boys, who wake up in the morning and see fit to put on your grown man suit and venture out into the world, allow me to point out that you are still a broken boy beneath the gold chains, fancy shoes, and designer labels. In short, you're a hazard to all who come into contact with you. Please do not pretend to love a woman and sell them a dream that you know damn good and well you cannot deliver. Listen up, broken boys, masquerading as real men. Love and healing begins in the mirror. Some of you think you can masquerade around in your nice cars, and you refuse to acknowledge the brokenness and pain that is ingrained within the reflection staring back at you. Well, guess what, broken boys? You have to sleep and wake up in the mockery of your own pain every single day. Until you decide to seek out the skill set required to graduate to become a real man, you are doomed to live with your inadequacies forever. That in no way gives you carte blanche to go out into the world and inflict your unresolved pain and fear into the hearts of the unsuspecting. Now, before you fix your lips or set a finger in my direction, let me add, yes, I'm aware many of us women are broken little girls too. That much is true. The difference is that we not only accept and acknowledge our own imperfections, we are on the daily forced to assume ownership over yours as well. Again, we do this because you are ill-equipped. Essentially, we bear the pain for both of us, leaving you without responsibility, freeing you to roam and spread more heartache. That is our journey. We learn through the pain that you've inflicted how to become a whole woman without you, something you'll never understand. Dear broken boys masquerading as real men, please stay home. Keep your brokenness to yourself until you're willing to address it. Since that's unlikely, I again respectfully request, in the absence of your growth and maturity, that you just sit your ass down. Not that you care, but we'll be fine. We always have been. After all, thanks to you, we've learned firsthand that we can do badly all by ourselves. What you fail to realize, however, is that we've also proven that we can thrive equally as well, all by ourselves. Yours truly, a whole woman. So I share that with you from the standpoint that ownership over relationships is a two-way street. And so while Jenna wrote her letter to the broken boys masquerading as real men, she also acknowledges that there are a lot of broken women out there. And so the same holds true. And one of the things that I appreciated so much about Christian when he did the male rebuttal in response to this at the book release celebration was in part of what he said. He did an off the top spoken word rebuttal, and one of the things that he said was, among other things, that I never meant to hurt you. He said, but you've also never taken the time to figure out why or what broke me in the beginning. What have I been through? And I think that that's an important message for all of us to remember, is that as we go out into the world and we explore relationships, we're taking all of our baggage with us, male and female. And depending on our personal experiences, depending on what all we've been through, how broke are we, how damaged are we, that we go out and we try and seek out these relationships, oftentimes for many of us in hopes of the relationship being the thing that sort of picks up the broken pieces. And what we have to realize is that a new relationship will never heal the pain from a past relationship. That's an individual thing and an individual experience, unlike the new relationship and the new experience. However, you can bring the baggage from that relationship in it and have it be so heavy that as you begin to unload and unpack, so to speak, you can damage, sometimes irreparably damage, a new relationship because you didn't heal the brokenness from the past relationship. And so I love that dialogue that Kristen shared at the release party, because I think that that's an important thing that we don't often talk about in in new relationships, we don't talk about what are those past experiences that brought the two of us here to this point to decide that we're going to learn, grow, and explore together. Good evening, Gregory. How are you? But that's that grown-up conversation. That's that maturity level. And when I talk a lot about how we have to teach people to be in relation with us, those are the kind of conversations you have to have. You have to understand where that person's coming from, because they literally may not have the capacity to love you the way you need to be loved. But you got to understand what that looks like. You have to understand what your needs are. I know for me personally, a big part of my relationships and what makes them successful, whether they're friendships, business relationships, or intimate relationships, for me is communication. I need that communication. I need someone that I can talk with. I need someone that I can bounce ideas off of. I need someone that's going to have something to, share with me as well, because I don't want them to be one-sided. So that exchange is something that's important to me. And it took me a long time to realize that without that piece, relationships don't really mean a whole lot to me. If it's not somebody I can talk to, someone that I can learn from, someone that I feel like we can grow and explore new things together, as well as sharing past experiences, probably not for me. But I'm very clear about that. And so I know that about myself, and I know that because I took the time after brokenness to heal the pain, to fill in the spaces, to figure out where did we go wrong, what was the misfire, what was the miscue, what was the miscommunication, what was missing from me. I can't do anything about anyone else. I can only do for me and from my perspective. Does this work for me? And so when I talk about staying in my own lane, when I talk about minding my own business, yes, a relationship is both of our business, but I have control over my part. I have control over your part, but I have to be able to communicate with you what the needs are, and I have to be able to rely on you to be able to communicate to me what your needs and expectations are. So that communication was one of the things that I realized when I look back at a lot of my failed relationships, including my marriage. I had selected people who were not good communicators at all, and because that's an important part of who I am and how I thrive, that's not ever going to work. And so I've now learned that it has to be someone that is a good communicator, who's comfortable talking about their feelings, who's comfortable about being honest, and that I want somebody I can talk to about anything. And so it seems like a little thing that a lot of times we overlook. It's not the big stuff. It's not the certain job that they have, or the area code that they live in, or any of those things. That's not what moves me. Communication moves me. There are other things that are important. Sex is important. That chemistry, that connection, but certainly even that's not going to be all that it can be if the communication's not there, because you don't have the comfort level to be able to explore new things. And that's what a long-term, sustainable, happy relationship looks like. It looks like being able to learn and grow and explore together, and that requires communication. And so I really wanted to share that letter to the broken boys, because there are a lot of women out there who feel that way. There are a lot of people pointing fingers, and so I always say, sometimes you got to point them fingers back at yourself and figure out what it is within you, because you teach people how to treat you. You teach people how to be in relation with you. And if you're not doing a good job with educating them because you're a poor communicator, then your relationships are going to be reflective of that lack of communication, that lack of trust, the lack of loyalty, all of those things. So that's the message for tonight. The letter to the broken boys, masquerading as real men. If you are just jumping on, thanks for joining in. If you missed the letter, feel free to watch this on the replay or check it out on my YouTube channel. But I'm going to be out of here for the rest of the evening, Y'all have a great night. And as always, thanks for living life on Mars. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow about more love miscarriage.